Hi, I'm Andrew Zukoski. I'm one of the co-founders here at Join. I'm its CEO. My background's in software. We wanted to record and share a talk that we just gave at the Advancing Preconstruction conference in Las Vegas. So Join's a decision-making platform for the built environment. We in this talk want to talk a little bit about OAC meetings, so owner, architect, contractor, team meetings. We think these are very important meetings. We think the OAC meeting is the crucible that that shapes, every significant project in the built environment. And they're important because it's the first and only place in many projects where three really critical perspectives come together: the owners, the architects, and contractors. And these represent the why, the what, and the how of what's going to get built. The owners bringing their perspective on the business case they have for a building or for a piece of construction, and they're bringing the budget that they have. The design team owns what's going to be built, the shape of it, the design of it, many of the material choices and so forth. And the contractor brings the how. The how is the intertwined trio of cost, constructability, and schedule. And when you have these perspectives together in one room, they can inform each other and they can bounce off of each other and they can align, and we can have really amazing outcomes, both in terms of the eventual product and in terms of the team's interactions and confidence and trust in each other. It wasn't always this way. Before the rise of negotiated and collaborative and progressive pre-construction processes, it was really, owner informs design, and then design informs cost and constructability, and it's a one-way street, and that's it. But that's not it anymore. We're hearing more and more about the importance for companies, businesses of design build processes, negotiated work. Last year, even just a lot of emphasis on target value design and target value delivery. And so a lot more emphasis on aligning the how, the what, and the why in the OAC meeting than there was in years past. As this is great, you have these different perspectives, but it does mean that there's a lot going on, and these perspectives often conflict about what's best either for their own firm or for the project as a whole. And it means that too often these OAC meetings, these owner, architect, contractor team meetings, end up contentious. Too often the teams come to these meetings expecting to have to fight their way out, and we don't think this is the case. We think they should all end in a smile. But before we talk about how you can get to that smile, let's talk about why they end up contentious. So I've got a couple of stories here. This first story is just a story about one electrical outlet, one small electrical outlet. And we got this from a senior pre-construction manager that we knew pretty well. And he described this job. It was the OAC meeting. They were pretty far along in the design. They were reviewing some aspects of the design, and the came up that they needed a new outlet in one room of this building. Architect throws out, I think we need to add this here. The owner asks the contractor, what's it going to cost? The contractor throws out $1,000, wanting to move on. The contractor's thinking yep, one outlet. This is $100 million job. We've got more substantial things to move on to. I'll throw this number out, we'll move on. And the owner thinks they've moved on, or sorry, the general contractor thinks they've moved on, but they get to the next OAC meeting and the owner walks in, visibly angry and carrying a bag. And he takes the bag and he throws the contents of it onto the table and pulls out a receipt and slams it down on the table and starts yelling, saying $1,000 for one outlet. How can you tell me it's going to cost $1,000 to add, outlet to my project? I went to Home Depot and I bought everything you're going to need, and it's all there on the table. You've got, you got the outlet, you got the socket, you got the faceplate, you got screws, you got wire, you got conduit, all the pieces you'll need. And he's saying, I bought all this for $49. How can you look me in the eye and tell me it's going to cost $1,000 to install this? And this is a problem. And the problem isn't that the outlet costs $1,000. The problem is that the team didn't communicate with the owner. The owner doesn't understand what's in that $1,000. They don't realize that, the Home Depot bargain bin prices don't carry the warranty they're demanding on this project. And They're not noticing the length of the electrical run that's going to have to be there, or thinking through the fact that it's all union rates for the installation, or that the inspector is going to have to visit, another room. And that wasn't communicated to the owner. They don't understand it. And so now we have a problem. And the problem has a result. The result of the problem isn't $1,000 for an outlet, right? In the grand scheme of things, on a $100 million project, that's not very much. The problem results in a low trust environment going forward. It means that the owner is going to scrutinize every potential cost change to a much higher degree than they would have before, because they've lost trust in the rest of the team. And if you imagine that $1,000 change resulted in a trip to Home Depot to understand what was going on, imagine what will happen when unexpected $10,000 or $100,000 or even $1 million decisions come up. Okay, so that project didn't go great, or at least that interaction didn't go great. I think the project on the whole was a success, but let's see how these sorts of interactions compound. What happens when you compound, poor communication resulting in low trust? So talk about winning jobs. We love winning jobs. We love, we know our customers celebrate it when they're able to land a big job, and it feels good. I mean, you've got an opportunity for your firm to do what it does best, to make money doing it, to deliver something important to your customers, the communities they serve. It's all good to win a job, right? So, this job was eventually won 3 times. Our customer, before they were using Join, won it early, working towards GMP, started delivering pre-construction services, working with the design team, providing cost feedback, and it wasn't going well. The owner had the wrong expectations going in, and so in terms of where the cost projections were relative to their budget, they were in a bad place and trending the wrong direction. Several bad meetings in a row, and eventually the owner says, like, okay, we're taking this back out on the street. We're going to look for alternative project teams to work with. This sucks. It stops progress. It means that the owner has to put a ton of time and resources into evaluating new proposals. It means that anyone who wants to participate has to evaluate the project and put together a proposal, which is no mean feat. But the original team looks and says, okay, fine, we'll continue to pursue this. We'll put ourselves forward in competition with others. And, perhaps unsurprisingly, they win it again, right? It turns out the team that had been working with the project for months had the best understanding of it and a fair price for it. So they win the job a second time, and that doesn't feel quite as good as winning it the first time. You might think the story would end there, but it's not so fast, right? You get the owner still has the wrong expectations and doesn't understand what's going on. The problem here again is communication, that the owner doesn't understand the reasons behind why they were off in their own cost projections, and they don't understand what's necessary from them to get the project back on track, or why they need to make those decisions in a timely manner. And this compounds again, and the owner again puts it out for competition, but the same original team wins the project again. So at least they at the end of the day, they had the project, but I got to say, I would rather win that job 1 time than 3 times. And this is a big deal when you compound it for a full business. I mean, we were talking to a customer of ours, family-owned company. They built this company over 30 years. They built it, delivering hard bid work really well. And they woke up just in the last couple of years, and what they've realized is that the majority of the work is now negotiated and it's not going back, and that after similar experiences, they realized that their communication just isn't up to snuff, and that they struggle to communicate, with owners and with the rest of the OAC team through these long negotiated collaborative pre-construction processes in the way that's necessary to drive project success, and it's beginning to impact their bottom line. And this need to improve communication may in fact be even an existential risk to the company. So communication is the problem. Solution, we think the solution here is connection. And we think this because we've seen that when pre-construction teams are able to meaningfully connect, multiple important stakeholders, connect them to the right data at the right time, things just go much better. This connection builds all sorts of things. And it's when teams deliver this connection. The connection comes from teams investing in it, putting things together. It delivers collaboration, really true collaboration. True collaboration isn't, the three senior estimators from one firm working together on something. Like, true collaboration needs diverse stakeholders and diverse perspectives. It means that the owner, the architect, the engineer, major trades, general contractor, that everybody's aligned and working in concert towards a shared goal and understands the context of where their pieces of the puzzle fit in and is able to focus on fitting them in rather than picking them up off the floor. It builds confidence, right? If owners, for example, can understand what's in a number, they have confidence that they're not being taken for a ride, that the rest of the team is working in their best interest. They have confidence that even if it looks like the project is in a bad place, that they can be on a path to the project succeeding. That confidence, together with the collaboration, comes together to deliver peace of mind. So, we were talking to a veteran pre-con manager, and they were describing how worried they were that they hadn't made the right connections on our project. I mean, they put a ton of effort in. They probably didn't have anything to be worried about. They were working so hard, but they were at a ball game Sunday afternoon, big meeting on Monday, and they were just like so worried that either they hadn't got the right data in place, or they were going to find that they had missed an email from some other collaborator on the project. They weren't going to make the right connection, that they just couldn't handle it. And they stood up in the middle of the ball game to go back to the office to work with the spreadsheet more. And we think this is awful. I think that teams should have the peace of mind that lets them stay at the ballpark. And it's not surprising that this is the case. I mean, collaborative pre-construction, it's complicated. You have all these different perspectives. You got the how, the what, and the why, like all coming together at once. You have different work streams coming out of different silos, even inside of an organization, delivering data that needs to inform this tangled pre-construction process. And teams end up living just in a maelstrom of email and spreadsheets. And it makes it very, very, very challenging to deliver the level of connection that project teams need to move through pre-construction successfully. And teams do it. Individuals are able to do it. Pre-construction managers, senior estimators, everyone's able to do it, but boy, is it a lot of work. And when it can't be done, it results in projects that are late or over budget, and even worse, with a burned out team who's just about had enough at the end of it. And this is where Join fits in. We're a software developer. We believe that there's a better way through this, that by connecting all the stakeholders on a single shared software platform and connecting them to the right data at the right time, they're able to move very smoothly from early concepts through to execution. And a lot of this comes down to teams that are able to deliver fast and informed decision-making. Typical project needs to make a couple thousand decisions to go from concept to execution, and you need the owner to make them. They need to be informed. They need to understand why it costs $1,000 to add that outlet. They need to understand the path to, the path back, as some people call it. They need to be able to make decisions. They need to make them confidently. They need to make them on time. And so we've had a great last year. We're really pleased by the progress we've had in the market, and we know that our customers are also doing well. Our customers, when we analyze data, are growing, much faster than their peers. And we think a lot of this is a reflection of the fact that they're embracing, the collaborative pre-construction. They're embracing communication with owners. They're embracing transparency with the OAC team, and we're very pleased that Join can be a small part of that. We think that they come together to help teams deliver smiles at the end of owner, architect, contractor team meetings, just from the very first meetings. So thanks for listening in. Anybody that would like to see a demo, reach out to anyone on the Join team, or if you check out our website, there's a simple form there to set up a demo. Thanks so much.